fluids, properties of the fluids, and etc. This fluid mechanics will be talking about that, and hydraulic machines will be talking about some power generating instruments. First of all, we will be focusing on the first part of the subject called fluid mechanics, and next we will be entering into the second part called hydraulic machines, where you will be studying more about turbines. So, fluid mechanics. When I talk something called as fluid mechanics, what do you mean by fluid? What do you mean by mechanics? When I see this word, I have two different words which are being combined. The first word is mechanics, the second word is fluid. I guess you people are very familiar with this term called mechanics. Am I right? Mechanics is a branch of science which deals about forces acting on the body when it is in rest nor in motion. That is, whenever the body is in rest or in motion, we will be talking about the forces, and that you call it as mechanics. Now, what is fluid? In this subject, we will be much concentrated on this part called fluid. Yeah, before going deeper into the subject, I want to give you a small review on the weightages as well as recommended authors. Coming to the authors, recommended authors for the textbook will be Bansal, a very easily understandable book. I guess you people are very familiar with this book. Sinjil. You can also use Fox and Donald. As well as Modi and Seth Subramanya, and finally Subramanya, Modi, Seth. Civil students, please concentrate on these books. Bansal, Sinjil, Fox and Donald. Mechanical students, please concentrate on this book. Why I told you as Bansal, Sinjil and Fox and Donald for mechanical students is, mechanical students, you will be having some thermodynamics part which you will be studying, where Sinjil will be very helpful book for that. Fox and Donald is also very helpful for those thermodynamic conditions. Whereas Modi and Seth Subramanya will be useful for civil engineering students. I guess Subramanya, you people will be very familiar with hydrology, especially this book Subramanya. You people please opt it for OCF, that is open channel flow, where mechanical students won't have this open channel flow, only civil students will be having. Right. These are the books for fluid mechanics, and you people can follow my material as well as running notes which I will be sending you by the end of the class. Next, coming to weightage of the subject. Coming to weightage of the subject, mechanical students will be having 6 to 8 marks. 6 to 8 marks. In this 6 to 8 marks, you will be having 2 to 3 1 mark questions as well as 2 to 3 2 marks questions. This is the weightage. Most probably every time you will be having a weightage of 6 marks for sure, maximum of 8 marks. Back to civil, guys. For civil engineering stream, 10 to 12 marks will be the weightage. I'm repeating, 10 to 12 marks. A very important subject is this. In this, OCF alone will be taking 4 marks. and rest it will be for your fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. So this is about the weightage as well as authors which you need to follow for fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. Guys, is it clear? My voice as well as screen, everything is clear to you? Please comment. Yeah, done. Yeah, thank you, Akhil. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So, this about your recommended authors and weightage. I guess you people are very, very keen with this authors. My humble request is whomever starts the preparation for fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines, start with a basic reference book and my gate notes. I prefer most of the time Bansal as a very, very basic standard book with very good fundamental examples where you can be very strong with fundamental knowledge of the subject. Singil will help you with the advanced versions and application of the concepts. So combiningly Bansal and Singil will help you more. Fox and Donald, why I am referring this book is most of the time we are seeing the example questions of Fox and Donald being asked in your gate paper directly. I will be knowing you which questions are being asked in the gate practice questions which I'll be recording for you people. Subramanya for OCF civil engineering students, don't miss this book. This book is a very beautiful book for the OCF. And you also have 1000 problems and solutions of Subramanya, another textbook, 1000 problems of Subramanya. That also you can use for the preparation of fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. I guess you people are clear with this. Going on to the next topic. Right. Coming to the next topic, we are going to study these 13 different topics of fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. As of now, we are going common with mechanical and civil. I didn't introduce the subject called or a topic called open channel flow for the civil students. Right, guys? When we talk about syllabus, the very, very fundamental and important topic, the first topic will be properties of fluid. In this topic, we are going to study the different properties. As I told you, fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. The subject name fluid mechanics. Fluid has some energy. Fluid have some property. Fluid has some like you can say energy which can give some work. So the properties are making the fluid so strong so that we are nowadays using fluid to produce some energy. Example, you take it as power. So we are going to study about properties of fluid. Next, fluid statics and pressure measurement. One thing I told you, mechanics. Mechanics is a branch of science which deals with forces when the body is in rest or in motion. Whenever the body is in rest, what term we call it as? We call it as statics. Static is nothing but whenever the body is in rest, we call it as static. So this topic most probably you will be studying when the fluid is in rest, you study fluid statics. Whenever the fluid is in rest, you will be having something called as pressure. Whenever the fluid is in rest, the best example for this I can give you as a dam bearing a water. When you take a reservoir, the water will be stored in the reservoir. The water will have pressure. Why water will have pressure? Because it is static, it is stagnated. So in this topic we will be studying about that and also the measurements. Coming to the third topic, buoyancy and metacentric height. I need not give you a very brief explanation of buoyancy because buoyancy is a very basic physics topic which you have studied from your very low standard of classes. So everyone know what is buoyancy. That is nothing but upward thrust force. Yes, ships have buoyancy, so that's why ship floats on water. But the second topic here is metacentric height. This is somewhat additional thing in buoyancy. See, buoyancy is nothing but an upward thrust force as you people told, or I'm giving you the example of that. Suppose whenever a heavy wave comes and hits a ship which is been sailing in the flow in the sea, what happens? There will be some fluctuations on the body, that is on the ship. At that time, the ship should come back to its original position. It should never tilt nor overturn. So it should be back to its original position, which will be helping the ship to come back to original position. That position, that point, we call it as metacenter. In depth, we are going to study about the metacentric height. The next topic is fluid kinematics. Very, very familiar word is kinematics. What you people are going to do in kinematics? Simply, I'll say that kinematics is nothing but study of motion of bodies without considering the forces. Hope you people have studied this in engineering mechanics. Am I right? So here also we are going to see the same thing with fluid. When the fluid is, when kinematics concept, when the fluid is in motion without considering the forces, analyzing the motion of the fluid particles will be kinematics. Energy equation, yeah, this is a very important topic. 2 marks gaining question will be from this energy equation and application. Your total fluid mechanics and hydraulic machine lab is been set up on this condition only. That is energy equation, that may be Bernoulli's equation, that may be Euler's equation, and we are going to see in deeper versions. You can call it also as fluid dynamics. Momentum equation, yeah, from here we are going to see about the turbines. This should be a small introduction part about the jets, types of flow, that is laminar flow and turbulent flow, flow through pipes. Again, a very important question. Most of the times the 2 marks question will be raising from this topic. We are studying about the fluid and the energies of the fluid at this point. So what happens to the fluid and how the fluid behaves when it is flowing in a pipe, we are going to see in this topic. Boundary layer theory. Boundary layer theory and force under submerged submerged bodies will be coming under a same platform. What happens when the fluid flows on a flat plate? That is the topic what we are going to study here. These two topics will be very interesting. Dimensional analysis and turbomachinery. This will be a last part. Dimensional analysis, mechanical student need not worry about this, because this is not at all important for mechanical as well as civil students. We will be seeing as a last priority. Turbo machine, yes, already 2 marks question will be coming from the turbo machine, as I told you. This is about the syllabus topics of mechanical engineering students. Civil students, you will be having all the 13 topics, but one more especially very important topic, the 14th topic will be open channel flow, which will be the last topic dealt in fluid mechanics and hydraulic machines. So this is about the syllabus. Shall we move on to introduction? Any doubts in the syllabus completions or syllabus and all? Chalo then. Right. Introduction. We are going to introduce the subject called fluid mechanics. Fluid mechanics. Here, I want to say that we should talk something about matter. How many types of matters are there? We know that we have solid, liquids, and gases. Solids, liquids, and gases. These are the matter. We will be talking about solid, liquid, and gases. Now, one thing what you people should always remember is liquids and gases are termed as fluids. In this subject, we are going to study about this. So, matter is classified into 3 ways: solids, liquids, and gases. Liquids and gases are known as fluids. Now, before going to this, can I know what is a fluid? What is a fluid? Because we are going to study about the subject called fluid mechanics, we need to know what is fluid first of all. Yeah, anyone can tell me what is a fluid? What is a fluid? Generally, if we ask any layman or a, a second or third class student, they said, yeah, somebody told GORK, anything that flows. Okay, I accept your answer. Anything that flows, anything else? Uh, okay, Sujit, matter that can't resist smaller shear force. Very good. Generally, when we talk about fluid, the common answer what we get is which flows, or water example, which takes the shape of the container, or we'll be saying like loosely packed molecules, loosely packed molecules, etc. This would be the answer most of the students will be giving, like which will be flowing or which will be taking the shape of the container, etc., etc. But we need to give it in a very proper as well as a technical manner, right? So for that, I can say that fluid is a substance. Fluid is a substance which can deform, which can deform continuously, which can deform continuously under application of tangential force. Tangential force. No matter how small the force may be. I can clearly say that no matter how small the force may be. Before going to that, I'll be discussing first of all what is solid. Can anyone tell me what is solid and what is liquid? I mean, liquid or gas or fluid, whatever it is. Solid. What is solid? And one more thing, students, by the end of the class, I will be giving you my contact number, that is WhatsApp number. You people can once text me there so that I can hand over you the running notes of mine as well as the questions which are solved in the class as well as few additional questions and solutions. Okay, I'm giving my contact number in the comment session. You people can please note it down. Myself, I'm Sai Pavan. I'm giving my contact number. You people can message me on WhatsApp to get the running notes of today's class. Running notes in sense you will be getting a fair notes of mine which is being taught recently in the month of January. Okay, so everything you need not take all things which are being seen on the screen. Just take the running points. I will be sending you the notes. As of now, I have sent my contact number. You people can contact me after the class. So, coming to solid. What is a solid? Again, here comes the answer. Sir, rigidly packed molecules. Rigidly packed molecules. Am I right? As well as molecules have fixed position. Intermolecular distance is very less. We can say that intermolecular distance is less or very less also we can say. This is what happens to the solid. Fluid, yes, already we have seen. Guys, is it any fast, slow, or need to have some changes? Anything you have to be done in the class? Please comment. Do people feel it bit fast or slow, or is it okay? You people are comfortable with the speed of the class? Please give your review in the comment box. Okay, done. Ajit, thank you. So, solid. Whenever we talk about solid, technically, what I can say is consider a solid block which is fixed at the bottom. Consider a solid block which is fixed at the bottom. In this solid block, I am applying a small shear force. I am applying a small shear force. What do you mean by shear force? What do you mean by shear force? Shear force is nothing but force applied onto the body in the tangential direction. Am I right? Force applied onto the body in the tangential direction. What happens to this body? It gets deformed in this way, right? The body is getting deformed in this way. Whenever there is a shear stress of tau, whenever there is a shear stress of tau, there will be deformation, and this deformation will cause something called as d phi. This is d phi. This deformation is d phi. Why this deformation is caused? Because this deformation is due to the applied shear stress. Within elastic limit, if this shear stress is there, what happens? Within elastic limit, if this shear stress is there, what happens? We will be saying shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. We call it as shear stress directly proportional to shear strain in case of Hooke's law, right? Until elastic limit, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. Now, I want to remove the shear stress here. For suppose we are removing the shear stress which is been here. What happens to the body? When the shear stress applied on the block is being removed, what happens to the body? Can anyone tell me what happens to this body? It will regain to its original shape. Very good, Vivek. It will regain to its original shape. Right. So clearly I'll conclude in solids, with an elastic limit, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain, and the body will regain to its original position under the removal of the stress or force. In case of liquids, when we talk, let us consider two flat plates which are again fixed at the bottom. This plate is fixed at the bottom. There is some fluid flowing in between. For suppose there is some fluid which is flowing or which is been in between the two plates. Now I have applied a small shear stress. Right. Now let this be the let this be a distance of y, and this position, oh sorry, wait a second. One second, guys. This is the position 1. This is the position 1 1 dash. Let this be the position 1 1 dash. What happens to this fluid when the shear stress is applied? What happens to the fluid when the shear stress is applied? It will start deforming. It will start deforming. Let this be 1 dash, 2 dash. I'm drawing the figure once again. Yeah, see here clearly, you can observe it. This is 1 1 dash. We applied a small shear stress of tau, right? We have applied a small shear stress of tau, and this fluid starts moving on in this way: 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash. right? Whenever this fluid is moving in this way, what happens whenever the shear stress is there? What will be forming? Shear stress is there. Obviously, what will be coming? Deformation, which we'll be calling it as shear strain. Now, is the shear strain phi, I'm writing here, phi 1, comma phi 2, comma phi 3 same or different in case of fluids? Phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 are same or different? Yes, you people can comment me. Obviously, phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 are different. Yeah, Mahesh, these are different. These are not like solid. For suppose, if I consider many layers of the fluid and we have applied the small shear stress, that is tau on this fluid, how could the deformation be same? How could the deformation be same? The deformation would be different. Yeah, Sujit, you are correct. Deformation would be different. That is, with respective time, the body will be moving onto different positions because due to intermolecular momentum. So in case of solid, you people clearly told that stress is directly proportional to strain. Whenever the stress applied is removed, body is coming back to its original position. Now I will remove this stress on the fluid. Will it come back to its original position? If the stress which is being applied, the shear force or tangential force, will it come back to its original position? Yes. Son Johnny, no. Yeah, why? Is there any fluids which come back to its original position? And in case of solids, we told that tau is directly proportional to phi. Shear stress is directly proportional to strain. For fluids, what will you suggest then? For fluids, what will you people suggest? Shear stress is directly proportional to what? We call it as rate of shear strain. Rate of shear strain. Yeah, Sujit, super. Shear stress is directly proportional to shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain in case of fluids. Why rate of shear strain? Because the deformations will be different. One deformation may not match the second deformation due to intermolecular momentum exchange. So in case of fluids, as I told you, the definition, fluid is a substance which can deform continuously on the under the application of tangential force. But and this force, it may be very small force or a very high force. That doesn't matter. The fluid will always start to deform. Now, the question is, in case of solid, if the shear stress is removed, it came back to its original position. Excuse me. So are there any fluids which will regain to its original position under the removal of shear force? Yes. Anyone can tell me that any fluids which will regain to its original position? No, not toothpaste. Toothpaste won't come back. Highly viscous fluid won't come back. These fluids which will regain to its original positions are called as viscoelastic fluids. Fluid which regain to its original position under the removal of shear force. Yeah, jelly would be an example, but this was a question asked in DRDO 2019 interview. The question was, what is the difference between solid and a fluid? The student told solid is a substance which cannot, after deformation, cannot regain to its original position. Fluid is a substance which deforms continuously under the application of small force. Answer is right. But the question was, will fluid come back to its original position under the removal of shear force? Obviously, there are few fluids which will come back to its original position those fluids are called as viscoelastic fluids. Example will be honey, jelly. Yes, your toothpaste, that is totally different. We are going to study different types of fluids, that is dilatant, pseudo, Bingham's plastic, thixotropic, rheopathic, etc., etc. There we will be discussing about toothpaste, Sujit. But as of now, viscoelastic fluids will be honey, jelly, etc. Honey, in the sense, it should be a pure 100% honey, not the honey which we are now getting in the market. So these are called as viscoelastic fluids. Now, the next one is, how did you get the name of the subject called as fluid mechanics? You people study the engineering mechanics? Yes or no? Comments? Yes. What is engineering mechanics? Can I know? What is engineering mechanics? Ajit? Vivek? Sujit? Yes. Come on, answer. How did the subject got evolved? Mechanics concept is nothing but analysis of forces on the body when it is in rest or in motion. This mechanics concept, when applied on rigid bodies, when applied on rigid bodies, you will be getting an subject called engineering mechanics. Whenever mechanics topic applied on rigid bodies, I guess you people never study about the deformation. Never ever we want the deformation of the body under the, yes, Sujit, perfect. We don't want any deformations. We won't take any deformations into consideration when you are studying, when you are studying engineering mechanics. So mechanics concept applied on rigid bodies, you call it as engineering mechanics. Next, when it is applied on, when it is applied on flexible bodies, when engineering mechanics applied on mechanics concept applied on flexible bodies, we call it as strength of material or mechanics of solid. Very good, very good, very good, Sujit. Why? Because whenever you take force into consideration, the body will be bending or there will be some deformations. So that deformations are very important to us. That's why we will be taking shear force, bending moment, xyz, etc., etc., in case of strength of material. The same mechanics concept applied on fluid element, when the same mechanics concept applied on fluid element, we call it as fluid mechanics. We call it as fluid mechanics. This is the subject which we are going to study in case of next upcoming videos. So now we are very familiar with fluid, we are very familiar with mechanics. So what we are going to do in fluid mechanics? Can anyone answer? At the starting, we have divided it into two parts. First one was fluid, second one was mechanics. I'm repeating the definition now. Mechanics is a branch of science which deals with forces acting on the body when it is in rest or in motion. That is the definition of mechanics. Definition of fluid is a substance which deforms continuously under the application of small shear force. Combine the two terms called fluid mechanics, what we are going to study in the subject. Yes, what we are going to study in the subject. We will be studying the behavior of fluid. Behavior of fluid when they are in rest and also in motion. Yes, fluid kinematics, fluid statics, etc., etc. So fluid mechanics is a branch of science which deals with behavior of fluid. I'm repeating once again, guys. No need to worry about the definitions and all. I'll be sending my running notes. When I am spelling out the definition twice or thrice, you can take it as the running notes. But please don't be in a hurry of taking the notes. First, try to understand the concept. Notes will be given to you Okay, so please always listen the topic first. So fluid mechanics, how can you define as fluid mechanics? Is fluid mechanics is a branch of science which deals with behavior of fluid when it is in rest or in motion. So this is the fundamental definition of fluid mechanics. Now this fluid mechanics, after definition, how will you classify fluid mechanics? Classification. Classification of fluid mechanics. How can you classify? Fluid mechanics can be classified into statics as well as dynamics. Fluid mechanics can be classified into statics as well as dynamics. You have seen this syllabus already. We have studying about statics. In this statics, we already seen what happens, that is pressure measurement. This dynamics again being classified into kinematics and kinematics and kinetics. It is being classified into kinematics and kinetics. Can I know what is kinematics and what is kinetics? Can I know what is kinematics and kinetics? Dynamics got classified into kinematics as well as kinetics or dynamics. Can I know what is kinematics and what is kinetics? Kinematics depends on velocity, acceleration, etc. Okay. Forces involved is kinetics. Okay. Why can't, see, one question I got now. Kinematics. Kinematics is nothing but study of motion of fluids or fluid particles. Motion of fluid particles without considering the forces causing the motion. Without considering the forces causing the motion. Am I right, Sujit? Do you told the same thing, right? Depends on forces involved. Yes. Now my question is, how will fluid flow without considering the force? What are that forces? In the definition, we have studied fluid is a substance which can deform continuously under the application of tangential force. That is, without tangential force, we can't study fluids. Fluid won't flow. But when coming to dynamics, we are saying that kinematics, which we classified into kinematics and kinetics, motion of fluid particles without considering the forces. How would fluid come to motion without the force? Can anyone tell the answer? Can anyone tell the answer? How can we study that? Without the force, how will fluid flow? Please comment. Sujit, you can. Ajit, Vivek. How will fluid come into momentum exchange? See, momentum is mass into velocity. Am I right? How will momentum be gained without application of forces on the fluid? Gino, we only take effect of forces. We won't take the external forces. We only take, no, not pressure difference. Pressure is totally different. Srirag, pressure is nothing but when the body fluid is in static condition, pressure will be coming. Vivek, yes, pressure will be coming only when the fluid is in rest. Okay, and pressure difference will be coming when the fluid is flowing. First of all, fluid should flow to get the pressure difference. Okay, so we will be taking the effect of forces. If I am not wrong, there is no evidence of fluid kinematics in the practical analysis. Once please go back to your BTech. fluid mechanics, whenever you study fluid kinematics, you would have studied continuity equation, three-dimensional, two-dimensional, and one-dimensional. You study types of flows and somewhat around stream function, streak function, streak line, path line, velocity potential function. All the mathematical analogy had took place there. Am I right? There is no practical analysis for kinematics because it is taking only effect of force, no external forces. Coming back to kinetics, kinetics is nothing but analyzing the motion with considering the with considering the forces causing the motion. That may be pressure force, gravity force, viscous force, turbulent force. You have n number of forces. Am I right? Now you people got what is the difference between kinematics and kinetics? Kinematics will be only talking about the motion without considering the forces, which will be not too possible in case of practical analysis. Where in kinematics, yes, we want to know what is the velocity, what is the discharge, what is the acceleration, etc. But it is only a mathematical way. You will be knowing why kinematics is a mathematical way in the further things. Kinetics, yes, with considering the forces, analyzing the motion of the fluid particles. Example, you take Bernoulli's equation, you take Venturi meter, orifice meter, pitot tube, your impact of jets, pumps, turbines, suction pipes, delivery pipes, etc., etc. Whatever you see in case of the fluid mechanics laboratory, these are the things happen. So kinetics or dynamics, energy equation and its application, the fourth topic of fluid mechanics will be this kinetics, which will be a pure practical approach for mechanical as well as civil engineering students, which you have seen in the laboratory. Now, so till now I have discussed what is fluid mechanics, how the subject got evolved, what is the classification of the subject. Any doubts in this sequence till now? Any doubts? You people can give a comment. What is fluid mechanics? How the subject got evolved? What how the classification of fluid mechanics has been done? Any doubts, or is it clear? Please comment in the box so that I'll move further, or else I can explain you this topic again if you people have any doubts. Clear? Okay, done. So now my question is, fluid mechanics totally is an engineering application subject. It will have some approaches. Obviously, you need to study the subject in a particular way. In which particular way or which particular basic concept you people have studied fluid mechanics? Can you tell me? I need approach of fluid mechanics. Approach of fluid mechanics. I'm sorry, the spelling is wrong here. It is H. Approach of fluid mechanics. What is an approach? Obviously, it is a science. It need to have an approach. You need to study the approach based on a particular principle. Can I know what are the approaches of fluid mechanics? Very good, very good. Lagrangian approach and Eulerian approach. Superb. Can you tell me what is the difference that what is Lagrangian, what is Euler's? Lagrangian approach and Eulerian approach. Lagrangian approach and Eulerian approach. Very good. Right. Lagrangian approach and Eulerian approaches are two different approaches. What Lagrange says we will be seeing now. See, consider a small pipe with some characteristic length of L, right? with some characteristic length L. What is an Lagrangian approach? We are seeing it now, right? In this pipe, fluid particles are flowing from one end to other end. From one end to other end. Now, according to Lagrangian, what will Lagrangian say? Lagrangian says that I'll consider a single fluid particle and I'll start walking through the overall length of the pipe. According to Lagrangian, he will consider a single fluid particle and he starts analyzing the fluid particle. That fluid particle may come out in this way. See, the red color marks which I gave is the single fluid particle which took the analysis of Lagrangian. Now my question here is this all fluid particles have same color, same molecular structure or different? All the fluid particles here will have same molecular structure or a different molecular structure. Can anyone tell me same color or a different color? Yeah, comment. The fluid particles which are in this pipe, same, it is homogeneous now, right? So analyzing this single fluid particle throughout its path which it came out, is it easy or tough? It should be microscopic analysis. We need to see this in a microscope, and that too all the particles here will be identical in nature. They are homogeneous. Am I right or wrong? You people are understanding the class or not? So, yes, see, all the particles here are homogeneous, identical, but always seeing one single fluid particle, how it is moving, will be very, very difficult until or unless we geotag it. Let this particle name is 1, other particle name is 2, and some other particle name is 3. In so on, you need to give this lakhs of fluid particle name such that you can identify a a particular particle there. For suppose you are a batch of 40 members sitting in the class without knowing your name. Suppose 40 boys are sitting in the class without knowing the name of the student. Can I identify the student? Without knowing the name, if you people are same, I mean 40 boys are sitting, how can I only choose a single person, that, or how can I choose a single person without knowing the name? That would be difficult. It should be totally a microscopic analysis. Same way in Lagrangian also, all the fluid particles of homogeneous nature which are been flowing from one part to other part, you cannot identify. If you can identify also, it should have a very keen observation. The total length of the pipe should be traveled by the Lagrangian and he need to give the analysis. So single fluid particle approach is Lagrangian approach. He need to consider the single fluid particle. So in case of Lagrangian approach, it is a single fluid particle approach. Single fluid particle approach. Now, is it very useful or not? Lagrangian approach is useful or not? Yes, please tell me. And students, did you people same analyzed the motion of the fluid particle in your laboratories? Did you people take a single fluid particle and saw, and you have analyzed the velocity, acceleration, as well as the discharge of the pipe, etc., etc.? Did you people took the same single fluid particle and analyzed? Suppose in case of venturi meter or an orifice meter in the fluid mechanics laboratory? No, no, yes. So why should I follow Lagrangian approach if that is not a perfect approach? Do you know why Lagrangian took a single fluid particle and gave the approach? Do you know who Lagrangian was? Oh, sorry. Lagrangian is a mathematician. Lagrangian is a mathematician. His view was obtaining the property of the single fluid particle and integrating it and integrating it integrating it would give him the analysis, but which will be very difficult to do. Why? See, one single fluid particle will give you one equation, 1,000 fluid particles will give you 1,000 equations. Solving 1,000 equations will become easy or tough? Always it is a tough task. Tough task. But the beauty in this is analysis of the beauty in this is analysis of each and every fluid particle will be known. Am I right? You will be having the data. You will be having data of each fluid particle. Data of each fluid particle. That is, you can accurately give the discharge, nor acceleration, nor displacement, etc. of the or velocity of the fluid particles, right? But it is a time taking task. It is purely a time taking task. At that time, a scientist called Euler came into picture. Eulerian approach. What did this fellow do? What did Eulerian do? Can anyone tell me? He also has considered same pipe. He also considered a same pipe, right? He told that I'll be concentrating on the single cross section. I'll be concentrating on the single cross section. That is every fluid particle passing from this point to this point should cross this cross section and go back and should come to the second zone. Let this be second zone and first zone. The fluid particle which is going from the first part should always meet this zone here and go back. He says that I'll be sitting at this point and seeing how the fluid particles are moving, and I'll take the average of the fluid particles and give the acceleration as well as discharge and velocity of the fluid particles. So here, which one will be very easy to give the result? Eulerian approach or Lagrangian approach, guys? Which one will be giving you the result very soon? Obviously, it should be Eulerian approach. But again, a drawback of Eulerian approach is data of each and every single fluid particle will be missing. We will be having an average data. We will be having an average data of the fluid particle, not all the data of the fluid particle. And it will be giving you the result in very short time, whereas Lagrangian will be taking a very long time. See, that's why this approach we call it as control volume analysis. What is a control volume analysis? Let us take a tank and there is fluid till this point. We call this point as free surface of water. This is the free surface of water. And here there is fluid particles which are being in this tank, and this is called as fixed surface. This is called as fixed surface, and this one you call it as free surface. You will be concentrating on a particular point, that is inside the tank. What is happening to the fluid? Am I right? The same thing you are doing it here. You are doing it at this point. What is happening to the fluid flowing at this area? Am I right? This is cross section. So this you call it as This you call it as control surface. We call it as control surface. Control surface is nothing but where the observer is always concentrating on. This you call it as control surface, where the observer is totally concentrating on. So control volume analysis, what we call it as control volume analysis. Control volume analysis is the analysis given by Eulerian approach. Control volume is nothing but a volume of the fluid or the area where the observer is concentrating. For suppose this is the area which the observer is concentrating. Here the total observer concentration will be there. That is free surface plus fixed surface plus control surface. Free surface plus fixed surface plus control surface is called as control volume analysis. Free surface plus fixed surface plus control surface is called as control volume analysis. By this, I can clearly conclude Lagrangian is a single fluid particle approach and Eulerian is a control volume analysis. Most of the time in fluid mechanics, we will be taking Eulerian approach into consideration. Wherever you go into the laboratories, a practical analysis, you will be always taking Eulerian approach. You will be concentrating on the throat cross section, nor you will be concentrating near the runner of the turbine, nor you will be concentrating on the impeller, nor you will be concentrating on the pitot tube, that is where the volume of the fluid or velocity of the fluid is going on. But never we will be targeting a single fluid particle. We will be targeting a control surface, that is you will be seeing a particular part always. So all the laboratory equipments are always Eulerian approach, control volume analysis. This is your Eulerian approach. We will be seeing Eulerian approach from fluid dynamics, that is energy equation. Where will we see Lagrangian approach? Lagrangian approach will be seen most probably. Lagrangian approach will be seen most probably in kinematics. All the mathematical evolutions, mathematically finding the velocity, mathematically finding the discharge, mathematically finding the displacement of the fluid particle. If you people remember stream function, you will be having a differential equation called du by u by dx equal to v by dy equal to w by dz. Like u, v, w are the particles. You are talking about a single particle here in Lagrangian approach. So kinematics mostly will be the Lagrangian approach, and all the practical approach for fluid mechanics will be the Eulerian approach. So this question is a very important question to study the subject. Mainly in many of the interviews, they will be asking you what is an approach for fluid mechanics. It should be Eulerian approach and Lagrangian approach. We will be using Eulerian approach. Eulerian approach is called as control volume analysis. Right. Any more doubts you have in these approaches? Any more doubts in approach? Please comment. And any more doubts till now? You people are very clear with the subject, or any more modulations to be done in the class which is being given to you now? Any modulations you require? It's clear, right? Very good. Thank you. So next will be, now one more doubt I have. What doubt I have is, what are the governing principles of fluid mechanics? Governing principles. What is the governing equation? Obviously, whenever you study science, there will be some governing principles. Governing principles or governing laws of fluid mechanics. Can you people tell me the governing laws of fluid mechanics? Very good. Somebody is texting me. Very good. Law of conservation of mass, law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of momentum. These are the three governing laws of fluid mechanics. These are the three fundamental laws of fluid mechanics. When you talk about law of conservation of mass, see what is law of conservation of mass? We say that mass in should be is equal to mass in should be is equal to mass out, right? Whatever the mass entering into the pipe or any cross section should come out. Where did you see this? Your continuity equation. See, you will be taking some tapered pipe. Mass entering from one side should be equal to mass entering from other side. Q is equal to A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. Am I right? So that is the fundamental. Your kinematics is the fundamental topic of law of conservation of mass. Coming to law of conservation of energy. Law of conservation of energy. What is this law of conservation of energy? Energy neither created nor destroyed for transferred from one can be transferred, it can be transferred, right? So in your venturi meter, velocity getting transferred to head or head getting transferred to velocity, pressure to velocity, velocity to pressure, the transfer of energy, we are not creating nor destroying any energy, but we are transferring one form of energy to other form, which happens always in case of hydraulic machines as well as all the measuring instruments. Energy equation, Bernoulli's equation, we have P by rho g plus V square by 2g plus z, where we have three different energies. That is nothing but your law of conservation of energy, which we will be studying in fluid dynamics. Law of conservation of momentum. Law of conservation of momentum. What do you mean by momentum? Product of mass and velocity will be momentum. Momentum exchange, that is initial momentum should be equal to final momentum. Initial momentum should be equal to final momentum. Water coming out from the turbine, sorry, water coming out from the penstock. Water coming out from the penstock will have some mass and velocity which comes and hits the runner or rotor. The blades start rotating so that the momentum transfer is happening there, right? So totally hydro machinery is nothing but conservation of momentum. These are the three governing principles of fluid mechanics. So this would be the introduction part to fluid mechanics. Any doubts till now? What you people should be very perfect and particular is what is fluid mechanics, how did you get the subject name fluid mechanics, how the classification of fluid mechanics has happened, what are the approaches of fluid mechanics, what are the governing principles of fluid mechanics. Till here, any doubts you have, please you people can comment so that I will be repeating the concept. Sujit, it is clear to you? Any doubts? Varke, Ashwati, Johnny? Clear. Done. Okay, nice. So what now we will be going into the first and foremost topic of fluid mechanics called properties of fluid. Properties of fluid. Can I know what are the properties of fluid? Few properties of fluid, can I know? Can I know? Somebody is saying specific gravity, viscosity. Okay, anything else? There are 30 students in the class. Hardly 5 to 6 students are commenting or telling me the answers. I want everyone to be actively participated. You need to express your doubts. Capillarity, okay? Faisal, incompressibility. Oh, is incompressibility a property? Yeah, okay. Before going to the properties of fluid, just I want to give you one small note point, okay? Take it as a note point. Is fluid compressible or incompressible? Is fluid compressible or incompressible? I need an answer for this. Everyone should reply. Fast, come on, guys. Guys and girls. Is fluid compressible or incompressible? Real fluids are compressible. Mr. Sujit, I don't know what is a real fluid and what is an ideal fluid. Generally, we'll talk in fluid mechanics. Fluid is there, right? What happens to that fluid? Is it compressible or not, or incompressible? In fluid mechanics, are fluids compressible and incompressible? Please tell me the answer. It may be a no. Can I know why? Sujit told real fluids are compressible, and Varki told no, fluids are incompressible. Do you mean that, right? In fluid mechanics, in fluid mechanics, are fluids compressible? Generally, liquids are incompressible and gases are compressible. Sujit, I guess I can at least 1% compress water. Water, if I take liquid as water, I guess I can compress. Then how can you say liquids are incompressible, man? Other students, are you people understanding? Any doubts can be expressed. Now, in fluid mechanics, are fluids compressible or incompressible? 110%. These are always incompressible. And I also accept, yes, we neglect that. No, it is getting compressed. How can I neglect that? Why should I neglect that? Please tell me. Why should I neglect that? In fluids, in fluid mechanics, the fluids are incompressible. Why? As your friend told, there are two types of fluids called real and ideal. Real fluids are compressible, but my question was, in fluid mechanics, is fluid compressible or incompressible? Answer is incompressible. Why incompressible? We will be seeing. Right. Did you people take any temperature? Did you people take any temperature? Yeah, 200 bar need for 0.5% compression. Yes, that is true. That is true, but it is getting compressed, right? Right. Fluid. Whenever, did you take any temperature into consideration in the subject called fluid mechanics? No. Yes, exactly. Whenever you increase the pressure, Sujit, as you told, 200 bar is needed to make water to compress or any liquid to compress as 0.5%. Yes, 200 bar pressure will increase drastically the temperature. Am I right? So, temperature is never taken into consideration in the analysis of fluid mechanics. Without keeping always temperature constant, you cannot make the fluid to compress. If any mechanical students are in the class, isothermal process, isochoric, isobaric, isenthalpic, isentropic, yes, these are all the assumptions. You can't always keep the temperature constant and increase the pressure, or pressure constant and increase the temperature. So in fluid mechanics, we never ever take the fluid as compressible, as we won't take temperature into consideration. So in case of fluid mechanics, if anyone asks you, is fluid compressible or incompressible, you can clearly say that fluids are incompressible. If they particularly ask you real fluids as well as your real as well as ideal fluids, yes, absolutely, real fluids are compressible and ideal fluids are incompressible. What about gases? 110% gases are compressible. 110% gases are compressible. Most of the time in fluid mechanics subject, we will be studying mostly about liquids only. For gases, you have some other concept called concept of continuum. Concept of continuum, which was given by a scientist called Knudsen. Given by a scientist called Knudsen. It is free mean path to characteristic length. We will be discussing about Knudsen number later. Just for your reference, I'm telling you, fluids are incompressible, gases are compressible. Gases analysis will be totally different. For gas analysis, we will be using the concept of continuum, that is Knudsen number. We call it as Knudsen has given this. Lambda is free mean path to characteristic length. We'll say that free mean path to characteristic length. Free mean path to characteristic length. If Knudsen number less than 0.01, you can say that less than or equal to 0.01, continuum will be existing. That is, gases should obey this concept called Knudsen number, or if it should get obeyed with the concept called continuum. If it is a continuum, it is compressible, and continuum that should be less than, Knudsen number should be less than 0.01. If it is greater than 0.1, no more continuum, and it is not called as a gas. Right? This topic, please keep it aside. I'll be discussing more about this in the further things. But till here, you people understood why fluids are incompressible. Am I right? Yes or no? I can go on to next topic. Yeah. So, right. Next will be properties of fluid. Yeah, please tell me few properties. You told specific gravity. Somebody told viscosity. Somebody told relative density. Some told density. Bulk modulus. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Vapor pressure. Okay. Anything else? I want the basic properties first. You people are going into very deeper things. Any basic properties? Weight. Yes. Please tell me what is mass, what is weight, what is area, and what is volume. What I mean exactly here is mass of a fluid, weight of a fluid, area of the fluid, and volume of the fluid. I want the analysis of these things. Can anyone please tell me? First of all, we'll start with mass. Mass. What is mass of the fluid? Amount of matter. Yeah, weight is also amount of matter. Mass is amount of substance. No, mass is amount of matter. Okay. I'll be giving you a small definition like quantity of matter expressed in kg. Quantity of matter expressed in kg. Can I say this? Quantity of matter. Yes. Okay. Quantity of matter expressed in Newton. Okay. Weight is a force. Huh? Oh, right. What is weight? So everyone obeys that units of mass is kg only, right? Am I right here? Units of mass is kg. Yeah, respond. What is weight? SI units. Yeah, we will be talking mostly about SI units only. I'll be talking mostly about SI units only. What is weight? I can say that weight is quantity of matter expressed in newtons, right? Can I say in this way? Quantity of matter expressed in Newton. Is these two things, that is units of mass and units of weight, correct or wrong? Sujit, yes. So my question to you people is, what is your weight? Sujit, please, what is your weight? Kiran, weight. With units I need. With units I need. Any student in the class now, can you people please tell me what is your weight with the units? Oh, 750 Newton. You say the same thing to everyone or you are telling it to me itself? Yes, most of the time you people will be, you have multi 50 kg force. The same way you express force, you say same way you express weight. If some layman comes and asks you, what is your weight? If anyone says 750 Newton, 50 kg force, he'll say, Arey yaar, kya bol rahe aap? What are you telling? Is that your weight? It should be 70 kg, 80 kg, 60 kg, right? So why you people are giving the answer in kgs for your weight? Your weight is absolutely right. It should be mass multiplied with gravity. Mass multiplied with gravity. Yes. G is always constant. That should be 9.81. Mass, for suppose you have 70 kg mass. Suppose you have 70 kg mass multiplying with 9.81, most of the time 10, and you will be saying 700 Newton, because units of mass will be kg, meter per second square. G will be meter per second square, which will be termed as Newton. Am I right or wrong? We can clearly say that 1 Newton 1 Newton will be is equal to 10 power 5 dyne. My very big doubt what I have now is, anyone asks us what is your weight, we express in kgs. My weight is 70 kg, 80 kg, 90 kg, but never ever you say in Newton. If you say in Newton, it should happen. You need to multiply this. You need to multiply this. But are you people multiplying? Now you people are saying it as 750 Newton, 50 kg force. But why there is a difference between weight and mass? I want this answer. Why there is a difference between weight and mass? So mass is nothing but matter expressed in kgs. Weight is nothing but quantity of matter expressed in Newton. Right? 1 Newton is 10 power 5 dyne. Any doubts till now? Mass and weight difference? Mass and weight difference. Any doubts till now? I guess you people are still thinking why we are telling it as 50 kg. Sujit, can you tell me the answer why you are telling your weight as 75 kg, and now to me why you are saying it as 750 Newton? Yeah, please think about this mass and weight. I want the answer from your side. So mass is expressed in kg, weight is expressed in Newton. Newton is kg meter per second square. 1 Newton is 10 power 5 dyne. Next topic is area. What is area? What is area? What is the area of rectangle? Area of rectangle. Area of rectangle will be length into breadth. Am I right? Okay. Tell me the definition of area then. You know the formula of rectangle. Area of rectangle is known, but what is area? What is area? Formula of, sorry, like definition of area. What is area of triangle? You'll say half length into breadth into height. Area is nothing but space occupied by the matter in two dimension. Space occupied by matter in two dimension. Quantity represent region enclosed by curve in 2D. Yeah, very good. Simply we can say that space occupied by the matter in two dimension. We have many types of areas now, like cross sectional area, normal area, plain area, right? Plain area, projected area. Is all these areas different or same? Is all these areas different or same? Area is space occupied by quantity of matter in two dimensional. Yeah, different. Why? What way it is different? What are the units of area first of all? Units of area. Yeah, units will be meter square, right? But all the areas have the same units of meter square. But why it is different? Why cross sectional area is different? Normal area is different and projected area is different. Can anyone tell me? Units. Units will be centimeter square, meter square, feet square, inch square, etc. Right? This changes. There will be change in area because of presence of body in the fluid. Presence of body in fluid, depending on the viewing of the object. Depending on the viewing of the object, there will be a corresponding terminology like cross sectional area, surface area, normal area, and projected area. So area is always space occupied by matter in two dimensional. Classification of areas will be many types. That classification and terminology will be used based on the appearance or presence of the body. Depends. Yeah, view differences. Perfect. Depends on difference planes. Yes, right. That is right, Abhijit. And units, most of the time we will be using SI units as meter square or mm square, and rest all units like centimeter, feet, inch will be used based on the taken yeah, one second. So this is about your area. Yeah, next coming to volume. What is volume? I guess most of the students will give the answer. Quantity of matter or quantity of space. Quantity of space or quantity of matter occupied in three dimension. Quantity of matter occupied in three dimension is called as quantity of matter occupied in three dimension is called as volume. How many types of volumes will be there? Units will be meter cube, centimeter cube, feet cube, etc. How many types of volumes will be there? Can anyone tell me? How many types of volumes will be there? One, only one. Good. You have only one type of volume. You don't have many different volumes. Generally, the word volume is very, very important in case of fluid mechanics. We will be measuring the fluid in volume. For suppose we say TMC of water, right? TMC of water. What do you mean by TMC? Can anyone tell me? Whenever we see, yes, perfect. Yeah, Geo, you are right. But volume of water is measured in TMC. No, most of the times in dams, reservoirs, when the fluid is flowing to the downward region, they say TMC of water. 2 TMC is being allowed to the downstream. 3 TMC is allowed to the downstream. What is TMC? Can anyone here tell me the full form of TMC? The full form of TMC is 1,000,000,000 cubic feet. 1,000,000,000 cubic feet. This is a word very familiarly used in dams, reservoirs, and fluid flowing in the channels. We will be like talking about 1 TMC of water, 2 TMC of water. If it should be changed into meter cube, 1,000,000,000 cubic feet. How we will be changing? 1,000 is 10 cube into million, 10 power 6. Cubic feet is feet cube. When we want to change this, it will be 10 power 9 into feet to meter, 0.302 whole cube meter cube. This is how you will be changing TMC, 1,000,000,000 cubic feet into meter cube of water. This is about the volume, right? These are the basic fundamental properties of fluid. This would be the introduction to the subject. Any doubts till now you have, based on properties, based on classification, based on your subject evolution, as well as approaches to the subject? Any doubts you people have? I guess it is 7 o'clock now. Any doubts, any modulations needed in the class? Are you feeling any fast, slow, etc., etc.? Any doubts you have, you can ask me now. Yeah, students, this would be a 10-15 minutes of session for doubts. I guess your class is from 5:30 to 7, right? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you people are giving a very good replies now. Yes, yes, yes. It seems 10 minutes of small interactive session we will be having. Can you people have any doubts? Can ask me. You have any queries? Anything else? Once I am repeating from the first, we have started with the fundamental thing of fluid mechanics. We have seen what is fluid and mechanics. The authors and the weightage of the subjects is this. Bansal, yeah, students, start taking your Bansal. You can study from Bansal. Singhal will be very good for concepts. Fox and Donald, most of the gate questions you get from Fox and Donald exercise questions. Subramanya for civil students, right? Weightage 6 to 8 marks. Mechanical guys, civil 10 to 12 marks. You people will be having. OCF will having 4 marks. That is civil combinedly 10 to 12. Only OCF you'll have 4. Okay, that is 8 marks, 6 marks to 8 marks from total FMHM. OCF is 4, combinedly 12. Syllabus, I guess you people find this syllabus everywhere. You go to an website called GOAPS, official website for GATE exam. Go to the website called GOAPS. In this website, you will be finding out the syllabus for respected branches. And introduction, we have seen what is matter, how it is classified, and what is fluid. We have seen the difference between solid and liquid. I'll be sending you the notes of today's class. You people please ping me in WhatsApp after the class. What is the difference between solid and fluid? Solid and fluid, solids are subjected to direct stresses, whereas here in case of fluid we'll have shear stress directly proportional to rate of shear strain. You call it as rate of shear strain, angular deformations, or you can call it as angular deformations or rate of shear strain. The only difference which you need to remember is in case of solids, shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain. In case of liquids or fluids, shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain. Here it is proportional directly to strain. Shear stress directly proportional to strain, shear stress directly proportional to rate of shear strain. This is the fundamental difference which you need to remember. Whenever the shear force is removed within elastic limit, solid body comes back to its original position, whereas fluids never come into picture. Or in case of fluids, if it is coming back to its original position, it should be a viscoelastic fluid. It should be a viscoelastic fluid. So this is how the classification happens. Mechanics concept, that is the concept of force applied on rigid, flexible and fluid elements. Rigid element will be engineering mechanics. Flexible element will be strength of material. Fluid element will be fluid mechanics. When coming to behavior and classification, fluid mechanics, we talk about behavior of fluids. Classification, statics and dynamics, dynamics, kinematics and kinetics. In case of kinetics, forces won't be taken, effect will be taken. In case of kinetics, forces will be taken into consideration. So approaches, Lagrangian and Eulerian, I guess you people are very clear with this. Properties, yeah, we need to go with the basic important properties like density, specific weight, specific volume, specific gravity, dynamic viscosity, kinematic viscosity, capillarity, surface tension, vapor pressure, cavitation. But before going into that, I want to discuss a basic fundamental things: mass, weight, area, volume. I guess you people have understood what is this, but I want an answer. You people please do a research on that. We will be discussing in the further classes what is the difference between mass and weight, and why we are always expressing our weight in kgs. For suppose, as I told you, your weight would be around 750 newton, but you express it as 75 kg. Why we are doing that? I want why. What is the difference in that, right? Yeah. And volume will have only one type, that we talk about three dimensional element. TMC is 1000 million cubic feet. 10 power 9 into 0.302 whole cube meter cube will be your TMC. Yes. Any doubts, please ping me now. Once again, I am giving my contact number. You people can message me on WhatsApp. This is my contact number. My name is Pavan. For material, a clear view material, whatever I taught today in the class will be given to you if you WhatsApp me in this number. If anyone don't have WhatsApp, you can mail me. The mail ID will be Sai Pavan FMHM